Across France, the chaos continues. What started in Paris has marched to Marseille. Riots with a fireworks salute that have turned cars into mechanical carcasses, sacrificed in the name of vengeance across this picturesque city. In these chaotic scenes in the city centre, people flee the protests and the police. For days in Paris, the city of light has been alight with rage. There's still a heavy police presence in the capital to quell the riots, as firefighters quell the flames. France's interior minister had said the trouble was getting less intense. Later, his ministry confirmed over 1,300 people had been arrested, compared to just under 900 the previous night. Here it is the morning after the night before. So we are in the outskirts of eastern Paris, and you can smell the burnt rubber and tear gas from last night's disorder still in the air. If there are questions as to why this is happening, the writing is literally on the wall. Nahel, the 17-year-old of Islamic and North African heritage, shot dead by police, was buried today, joining a growing list killed by French police. But if this wreckage was from a hangover that has lasted decades, the headache for those clearing up the wreckage is no easier to handle. This man came face to face with the mass who descended on his building, and so has asked us not to show his out of fear of repercussions. So what happened last night?
Ils ont voulu mettre le feu dans le magasin et j'ai supplié qu'ils ne mettent pas le magasin en feu parce qu'il y a des enfants qui dorment là-haut, il y a des familles qui dorment dans le premier étage. Il ne faut pas faire ça. Il a laissé tomber, il m'a dit on va prendre tout, mais on ne met pas le feu. Et heureusement, il n'y a pas eu de blessés. Mais c'était vraiment une nuit très, très, très dure.
But here, grievances are converging into one. Increased rents and expensive properties made this estate agent a target of rage. Their protest splashed in this graffiti. What happened here last night?
Il devait être à peu près 1h du matin, par là qu'on a été informé par la société de surveillance. Et puis voilà comment on a découvert l'agence ce matin. C'est pas bien ce qui s'est passé. Maintenant, c'est pas une raison pour saccager des choses. On n'a rien demandé, on fait uniquement notre travail. Donc, je sais pas quoi vous dire de plus. Là, je suis choqué des événements. Donc, j'ai pas spécialement les mots qui me viennent.
But for all the destruction, the deepest damage has been to the fabric of this multiracial republic by a growing list of young Arab and black victims of police violence.
Cette mort a été le déclencheur parce que beaucoup de jeunes se reconnaissent dans ce Nahel en disant finalement ça aurait pu nous arriver et ce qu'il a subi, eh bien c'est un comportement policier que nous subissons aussi quotidiennement depuis trop longtemps. Il y a eu plusieurs personnes qui sont mortes dans ces circonstances, donc oui malheureusement il y a une liste qui est trop longue.
The disorder disrupted a busy summer for tourism, especially for destinations like Lyon, hit by protests last night. The UK Foreign Office has advised travellers to avoid affected areas, but warned the locations are unpredictable. But as politicians respond, even if outbreaks end and the flames subside, the embers of injustice will still burn.
Simeon Brown reporting from Nanterre. Well, Anne Roux-de-Chilly is a councillor representing Bouches-du-Rhône, an area which includes the city of Marseille. She's a member of President Macron's party. I spoke to her earlier and put it to her that the president had failed to address accusations of systemic racism within the police force.
I refuse completely this point of view. France is not a state which support racism or discrimination. In fact, we are the country in Europe who provide the most distribution to the people and of course for poor people. So all the statistics prove the opposite, because since decades racism is less and less in France.
That is not what the United Nations is saying. The United Nations said now is the time for France to tackle the deep issue of racism and racial discrimination in law enforcement. And many people agree that that is long overdue in France.
It's so easy to criticize a state when you don't know exactly the situation and the role of our state. Since years, we create so many disposals to help poor people, to help young people. It is a minority who consider this is like an opportunity for them to destroy everything, to break everything.
Young Black and North African people are 20 times more likely to have their ID checked by police than the rest of the population. The courts in France have recognised that there is a degree of racial profiling. You are in denial about the situation being faced by those communities.
No, I'm not in denial, no, but you cannot blame all the justice or all the system or the state or the police. Even this death is dramatic, I agree. This young boy, even this young boy was himself an offender, don't forget it. But it's not an excuse.
He was a 17-year-old boy shot at point blank by a police officer, something described by your own president as unacceptable.
Yeah, I agree. Of course, I say exactly the same. But the justice had a prompt answer, and the policeman was taken in custody rapidly. And because we are in a democracy, we must let the justice make it work. And this dramatic death cannot justify or excuse the violence, riots, or the fencing, of the pillage, etc.
You and the president want parents to take responsibility for their children, that they should be keeping them indoors. I just wonder what responsibility you think the police should have for using language like we are at war with savage hordes of vermin.
I think they go too far, but we must also understand them. They are at the end of the loop of the process, and they have to face with all the problem of our society. And they are also killed by people, and they are aggressed by people, etc. So I think some of them are fed up now.
You are hoping and expecting things to calm down in the coming days?
Yes, and then we can have a discussion with association, with leaders, etc., with other politicians, parties, and to maybe to change something if it is need. Yes, of course.
Anne Rudichely, thank you very much for talking to us.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.